Hello, people! Would you like to buy some internet junk? Congratulations, you are the winner. You're the 1000th visitor to this stream. I don't know. Oh, I love the lack of delay on Beam. It's great. It's amazing. I sound really awake, don't I? Oh man, today I have made a lot of videos. I have a Foxy Boxes ready to go. Yeah. Recorded some Battleblock Theatre and did some stuff, some things for the commission, and this now. It was another thing. Oh yeah, Gamemode 4. Recorded a Gamemode 4 as well, so been a very productive day. It's been great. Am I making up rubbish now? I am rubbish. So I'm just going to be converting custom terrain, Gamemode 4 Orbis, over to 1.9, and one of the things that this involves is redoing lots of it, just changing up some of the commands. Some of it's just copy pasting stuff, but because a lot of people don't know how it works and want to know how it works, because it's a very complex system, I thought I'd stream it and record the stream and upload it, and maybe people can learn one or two things, or maybe even 3 things from it. We will see. Right now, I am just quickly... I guess I'll untick that, but you can't really... I'm just recording Minecraft at the moment, so I'm just going to quickly MCEdit in the 1.9 version of custom terrain and go from there. So I want to open custom terrain 1.9 spread test. And I want to import my schematics, which are somewhere. I'm not quite sure where I saved them. The software. I'm just trying to find where those schematics are. MCEdit. I might have updated MCEdit and lost the schematics. Custom train. Oh, here we go. Custom train base. It's a good start. Let's put that nice and high up where it's not going to get destroyed. Not that you can see anything yet. And that's going to just go, I think, when I load it, although it might not work because it's 1.9. In fact, I'm just going to delete this comparator and this comparator and this redstone block so that it doesn't run when we import it, because we don't want it to do anything. And I guess we should import... I think for now we'll just import that. I think that's all we need. So let's go over to Minecraft and custom terrain 1.9 spread. So here's our bedrock floor world. Congratulations, the custom terrain base module has been successfully installed. Oh, thank you. It's very kind. So that's just run all of this stuff. You know what? I'm kind of tempted for custom terrain not to release a schematic, because all of these command blocks here are just scoreboard objectives. And we can really cut down on the size of this if we just add those at the beginning when the one-click is installed. So I'm kind of tempted to just ignore the schematics and have one-click only. So there is that. Hello, Amazing Nate. Thank you for following me on Beam. Please don't murder me. Okay, so this is the base module. Oh, look, it put the clock back. That's very considerate of it, but this clock over here is responsible for the spreading of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to I love how this one is randomly facing up and all the others are facing down. That's very odd. Maybe this is placed by this system over here. Not quite sure. Okay. So we're going to need a line, which I guess we'll put over here. Like so. And this is going to be a falling sand clock. See if I can remember how to do one of these just off the top of my head. Summon falling sand. Time 1, 0. Block. Redstone block. Motion 0.0, 0.35, 0.0. Fancy that. Okay, I'm going to turn I'll leave F3B on, it's fine. That has to do whether the command block is powered or not. Powered command blocks have damage value. Oh! Right, yeah, that makes sense. Dan Gassi was saying that the reason this is facing up is because it was powered, so it had a damage value of 1, and now the damage value is used for orientation instead. That's a good explanation, thank you for providing that. So, need always active chain. I love the fact that these command blocks are gonna be awesome. So I'll let you in on a secret. I haven't touched custom terrain in a while, so this is a bit of a refresher exercise for me as well. The first thing we need to do is the chunk spreading system. I'm going to quickly go over how it used to work and then show you how it's now going to work because it's a lot better. So I believe they're over here. We have these armor stands called chunk processor S, chunk processor W, there's an N and an E as well. So we've got the northeast, southwest. So what it used to do for this chunk checking is that this big block of code over here would work out where the corner of the chunk was for the player. Let's just assume this is the corner of the chunk right here. I really like the new rain sound. Let's set some stuff up here. Scoreboard, objective set, game rule, do daylight, false, game rule, command block output, false. Okay, so assuming this is the chunk corner, what this does... Oh, the phone's ringing. That means my internet's going to drop out in a second because my internet sucks. 1 second. Am I still here? I think I'm still here. Yeah. That's crazy. That was my brother. He's forgotten his keys. He's lost his keys. He hasn't forgotten them. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is the chunk corner. What it used to do is it used to summon an armor stand called chunk check east here, and then it's east here, and then south here. Well, yeah, south, west, and north, and then it would delete this one. And now this one here would summon a north, an east, a south, and a west. And this one here would summon a north and an east and a south and a west. And then this one here, northeast, southwest. So basically you get this pile of entities in one spot. And what I was doing is to get rid of all but one of them. So I was getting north to kill south, east, and west. I was getting east to kill south and west, and I was getting south to kill west. So by the end, you'd always end up with just one, usually west, unless there wasn't a west. So that's how it worked. It's quite a lot of command blocks. It's all of these over here because there's all these different kill commands and summer commands going on. But what we can do now in 1.9 is, first of all, I'm switching from armor stands to area effect clouds, which have two neat advantages. One is that they don't have any kind of model, so they're not rendered, and they should cause very little lag. And secondly, very importantly, they have a duration tag, so we can get them to kill themselves with no extra commands needed and no extra lag once they're done. So we just tell them to basically decay after a certain time. So what we can do, in which we actually could do in 1.8 but I didn't know about, is if we are summoning 2 area effect clouds or more, so you can see there's 3 here right now, we can run this command here and it deletes all but one. And we can have 2 different clumps of these armor stands as well, and they don't interfere with each other. So what we're doing here is we're actually tagging them, executing it all. It's called test. Scoreboard players tag all entities C-1, R equals 1, add GM4 no kill. For some reason this tags everything but one of them in that space, and then this kills everything that doesn't have the no kill tag, leaving one behind. Not really sure why it works, but it works. And that's 2 commands and only one type of entity instead of a north one, a south one, an east one, and a west one, which should be really helpful for this system. So let's go through this one at a time. So this is the fill and the fill. For some reason, oh, it is going towards positive X. Okay, that's good. So set at a chunk sum type 0. Then we're executing it all. Right, okay, so what this is doing is when custom terrain detects bedrock under you, that's when it starts the scanning process, like so. But if it detects, oops, oh dear, if it detects bedrock all the way over here, 160 blocks in front of you, it'll start it over there, and the same for over here, so that as you approach new terrain, it loads it before you get to it, because otherwise what would happen is you'd be standing here and it would fill in everything around you that's loaded and stop at the edges of the loaded chunks, and then you would walk forward and you'd be approaching this terrain which hasn't been scanned yet, and then you'd reach the edge of this and then it would go, oh, there's bedrock, and then do the whole thing again. So to prevent this, we look several blocks ahead of the player and go, oh, there's bedrock over there, and then scan from that direction as well. So that's just a little way we can improve the reach of the system. So what we're doing here is we are setting their sum type scoreboard to 0, and then if it finds bedrock 160 blocks plus in the X, we set their chunk sum type to 2, and we set it to 3 if they find it in the negative ZX, and then, you know, basically we're working out where there is bedrock. And this one here is checking for bedrock directly below. So the last thing we do is check below them, which means that by the time it reaches the end of this line, even if there's bedrock over there and there and there, it'll set it to 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5, and then it'll check here, and if there's bedrock it'll set it to 1. So this basically has the priority. By the end, if there's bedrock below you, your score will be 1. I'm kind of just talking through this mostly just so I remember how it works. Then we are setting PosCalc. I wonder what that does. So this is setting the TPOS score to 1 for any player with a chunk sum type of at least 1, meaning there's bedrock to be placed. Any player with a TPOS score of 1 is detected by this system as needing their coordinates worked out. So that's basically telling it to work out the coordinates of the player. I'm not sure what this here though is. GM4 POSCalc. Oh, I bet that's this. GM4 POSCalc. Yeah, okay. What's it doing to POSCalc? It's adding a stats command to it. The success count. School players set adding enables POSCalc. Oh, okay. So this is just adding its stats to the chunk sum type scoreboard. And then it's testing for an entity with the name GF4 chunk checker. And if it finds... Oh, I know what this is. This is the overflow protection. So it's checking, it's doing a test for chunk checker armor stands, and that's the armor stands that scan around, sort of processing all the chunks. And if it finds more than 250 of them, which there should never be that many, then it kills them all. So basically, it's like an overflow protection. So if something goes wrong and they're all left behind, it kills them all and stops the scanning process until you move on to some bedrock again. So we actually shouldn't need that anymore because we can get these to kill themselves. This is just a tell raw telling me that it's killed all those armor stands, which we can get rid of, which I amazingly left in the final module. Scoreboard players add GM4 chunk checker type armor stand, GM4 chunk age 1. This is adding 1 to their age every clock cycle, and this kills them if their age is 4, which is supposed to again kill them if they've been around too long. So we can get rid of quite a lot of that. I think I understand what's going on here now. Should I fill the processed chunks with barriers instead of cobblestone, says Swinksy? Yes, that makes a lot of sense. The reason I didn't do it originally is because I wasn't sure whether barriers in large quantities caused a lot of lag. And for some reason I decided not to test it, and it turns out they don't. So I could set barriers. However, because we have, I was going to fly over here where when I was working on the 1.9 version the custom terrain changes were, I kind of want custom terrain to be able to replace the bottom layer of bedrock with a block which represents the biome, because if we want biome-specific effects, or if another module wants to add biome-specific effects, it can go, there's sandstone at the bottom layer of this chunk, it's a desert, I'm going to apply a thirst effect or something, you know? So if we're going to all the trouble of working out what the biome is, we may as well mark it somehow. We could mark it with an armor stand, but that's going to be very laggy in a passive sense. Coffee time. So I would rather mark the floor. We have had people digging straight down, for some reason, into the void. And that's regrettable, but put some shades on and deal with it. I don't know, I kind of like the idea of marking the chunks, and I don't want to use the layer above the bottom layer of bedrock, because that, like the shape of all these little bedrock blobs, determines information about structures and dungeons and things like that. Coffee, I thought you Brits drank tea. I do drink tea, but I also drink coffee, and I quite like coffee. Based on a slime, yes, I could use a tagged area effect cloud, but passively it would be like hundreds of entities loaded around you, one per chunk. Actually, we're actually not scanning per chunk, we're scanning a 2x2 of chunks all the time. A barrier in the corner? What's the point of a barrier in the corner? It would be... The point of the barrier was to stop people digging through to the void. but maybe you're saying maybe we can put a biome identifier in the corner, which is a good idea, except then we would have to constantly use this big system here to work out the coordinates of the player to find the corner of the chunk that they're currently in to find the block. Or we'd have to be constantly doing a really big test for block thing to try and find that type of block. So it's much easier to just look directly below the player wherever they are for the block type. So I'm actually going to probably leave it. Maybe I'll put barriers there by default, but have biomes still set something like sandstone instead of barriers. It slightly reduces the risk of somebody dying in the void. Okay, so let's go ahead. I think I'm going to shorten a lot of these scoreboard names as well. And we're going to also add a line here for adding all of these scoreboards. Scoreboard players, scoreboard objectives, add. Right, what's this first one for? Chunk sum type. So this is working out whether a player has chunks around them that need to be scanned. GM4 CST. CST. Dummy. Okay. So, let's copy this over, I guess. This is going to be fairly monotonous, but you're going to get a lot of an idea. Couldn't the expansion packs just test for the biomes instead? Yes, again, they could, but that's an active check. Every X seconds, they're going to have to do the very taxing and expensive biome check that the custom terrain is already doing again every couple of seconds rather than just once. Plus, biome detection works best in a fresh chunk that the player hasn't been able to edit. If we're constantly checking the biome of the chunk the player is in and they put some sandstone or sand in the wrong place, it'll think it's a desert, which isn't right. So that's why I'm not letting the expansion packs just constantly test the biome. To be honest, the first rule of Minecraft is don't dig straight down. So, you know. Scoreboard players add CST 0, or set CST 0. Good. I actually need to add the objective, I think. Good. That we don't need. I'm gonna clone this so we can delete them as we go, so we know where we are, but we still have the original if we screw up. Oop. There we go. So we've got that one done. Execute at A, detect 160 in the X, bedrock 0, scoreboard players set at P, GM4, CST 2. I think I'm happy with how this system is working. I think I don't want to change this behavior at all. So we're executing at all players to detect bedrock 160 blocks in front, setting their CST. These references are so common that shortening the name of the scoreboard is going to really cut down on the number of characters we have total. Let's put up our CST. Scoreboard objective set display sidebar GM4 CST 2. That's correct. There is bedrock over there. Then we're going to do the same thing again and check in the opposite direction. CST 3. Then 4. I'll coil this up properly later. My day is going fine. Thank you very much, MC Zombie Slayer. How are you doing? Spider says, oh yeah, you use Beam now. Were you looking for me on Twitch? And Dattengassi says, cloning, that explains how Sparks has multiple jobs, plus runs a server, plus makes video, plus makes Gamemode 4 modules. Yeah, I don't know how I manage. Through the wonderful help of all the people involved in the project, I think. It's bigger than me now, in many ways. much as I dislike that fact in some ways because it's my baby. CST 5, good. And finally, CST 1 if there's bedrock directly below us. Great, so if I go over here and I just break this block, it should set it to 5 again. Yep, that's working nicely. So that's telling it where we are trying to do everything. It feels so much smaller when you don't have a fill clock. And then everything beyond this point we don't need anymore. This is checking the number of scanned chunks. This is... oh, we need to keep this one. This one tells that we need to know our coordinates. Yeah. Scoreboard player set at A, score GM4 CST. Min equals 1, tpos 2 1. See, tpos 2 is the scoreboard name that was given to this system by what's his face? I didn't design this big block of command blocks here. I stole it with permission. What's his name? I think I actually briefly met him at Minecon, which was nice. I find it really hard to pronounce his name. Anyway, whatever his face is, he made this system and he called the scoreboard tpos2. And I didn't change it because it's referenced in every single one of these command blocks. So, but I feel like this is the time to make it Gamemode 4 standard and give it a proper name. So tpos2 literally just means I need my coordinates. So we could go with like a GM4GC, get coordinates. I want to keep the names short. I don't want to make them really difficult to understand what's going on. There's a bit of a trade-off in that respect. Get coordinates. Because I think that one is referenced in every single one of these. So this is pos Y, R1, X, Z. Oh god, this is gonna... I need a way of getting these out without having to do it by hand. Chunk process. Oh wait, am I still... I think I'm... No, this is the scoreboard. Right, I should be over here. Pos X. It wasn't Vubi. Vubi designed the original system, but it was compacted and reduced in processing time to a single tick by someone whose name I've forgotten. I'm not sure if tpos is actually referenced in here much. We may be okay. There's a load more down here as well. Okay. Are there any MCEdit filters that... I think I may even have one. Hang on. Oh, you know what? I bet the filter's gone now I've updated my MCEdit, because for some reason MCEdit just deletes its filters. Staffin! That was it. Thank you, Redstone Slime. Staffin? Staffin? Staffin. Starfin. I never really knew how to pronounce it. And I did meet him at Minecon briefly. So that was nice. Just looking at my filters a second. Do I still have it? I used to have one which just dumped all of the contents of a command block into a text file. I seem to only have the default filters now. Do I have them in a folder, I wonder? People going to Minecon? I'd like to go to Minecon. I am hoping to go to Minecon. I am planning to go to Minecon, provided I can get a ticket. It is in California, but it's so fun. Hi Cat Kim, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Minecraft loading screen as I fumble and bumble my way through my filters folder. Fumble bumble, filters folder. Fumbleable filter folder. Bucketable. What am I doing? The software. I might have it in an old MCEdit folder. Yeah, here it is. All my old folders. MC interface. I don't know what that is. MCEdit. Oh, these. Biome. 2block. No, that's something else. It's like dump or something. Dump command blocks. There it is. Let's try that. I'm going to put that in my current filters folder. Is it here now? I'm going to have to look at this later. Oh no, there it is, dump command blocks. So, I know you guys can't see this, but... Oh, Catkin, you're following us creepily. Jeez. Wait, Spider says there's a button built into MCEdit. The CB commands button on the left of MCEdit. CB commands? I have MCEdit unified. I don't see that button on the left. No, I'm not seeing this button. Have to have commands selected. It'll show up. I have commands selected. I have... Maybe I have to select multiple command blocks? Oh, I see it. Yeah, okay. CB commands. It even opens it in Notepad++. That's amazing. How did it know that's my favorite browser? Okay, great. Great. So, in which case I can do that at some point. I'll either have to restart the screen so you guys can see my text editor, or just leave it until after I'm done streaming. I think we can still do some chunk spreading stuff without worrying about that bit. Hi John Pop, thank you for watching. See you later. Right, back to Minecraft. Progress. So we can easily export all of those to text file, and then I guess I can just do a load of fill replace stuff and then run them through one of my generators to just import them back in. So that shouldn't be too bad. MC Zombie Slayer, this is custom terrain for 1.9. We're beginning the arduous process. Isn't that a great word? Arduous. I love it. So we don't need that. We don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that or that, because these things kill themselves because they're sensible and they have an age and they die when they're old and shriveled. Okay, so that's all of that dealt with. So what's this next bit do? It's so messy. Oh god, what was I thinking? That's a fill command. That's also a fill command. Fill? Fill. What are you filling, little fill command? You're filling one block. You're filling this block, which is, I'm guessing, set by something, and then you are filling all the way along here, I guess. I think... Are you setting... Yeah, there you are. You're setting a block up here that's setting this to fill along here. Okay, well, sure. This is why I want to like completely go through everything and do it properly, rather than just going, like, keeping this shape and just fixing the commands that are broken, because there's There's some random stuff in here that doesn't make any sense. What is this? This is a fill. This is a fill. It's fill. Fill. Okay, I'm going to clone all of this out. So we can look at it more clearly. Okay. Okay, so what's this doing? Execute at E, type equals understand, name equals GM4, chunk checker, detect Minecraft bedrock, fill, cobblestone. So this is marking the chunk as checked. Good. Sorry if I'm not reading the chat too well. Updating command blocks to 1.9 is awesome. You find so many things to improve. Yes, I agree. It's a satisfying, if somewhat arduous process. I love the English language. I speak Swiss and I speak German as well, but English has by far the most words for the same thing. It's great. You can be really superfluous, articulate, elaborate with your language. It's great. So many synonyms. Scoreboard player set at equals type equals understand name equals GM4 chunk checker. GM4 chunk process N1. 1 second. So what's this doing? Chunk process north. What if you use barriers for bedrock placement so you don't have to worry about players going through to the void? Might be a bad idea. Not sure. Spider, we talked about this earlier and you weren't here. I'm sorry. Someone want to fill him in on why I don't want to do that, even if you disagree with me? Scoreboard player set. Type exam stand name construction process N1. Do we do that for south as well? So we're giving it a score of 1 for north, south, east, and west. I think this we can get rid of pretty much because we have that system down there now. And then we're executing at E type because I'm standing. Okay, this is... Oh, we may have to keep this. This is telling it where it can summon another chunk checker armor stand, I think. So first it's setting all of them to 1, and it's detecting, it's checking for... What's this doing? Executing on the chunk checker armor stands 32 blocks off, which is where the next armor stand would be. Scoreboard players set at E chunk checker on. So this is basically saying if I am an armor stand here and there's an armor stand over here, I am telling it that it doesn't need to summon an armor stand where I am. I think that's basically what it's doing. Hello, Kropeb. Welcome to the stream. So we may want to keep this. It seems like a sensible thing because it's reducing the number of area effect clouds we have to spawn. We're doing more checks, though. And when you have maybe 70 of these area effect clouds, is it better? What we're doing here is we're working out whether we need to spawn the armor stand before, sorry, the area effect cloud before we spawn it. Alternately, we could spawn it, then work out if we need it and kill it if we don't. And I remember this being a bit of a sort of to and fro for me when I was working on this. Originally, is it better to work out whether it needs to be spawned and not spawn it if it doesn't, or not waste processing power working out whether it should be spawned, just spawn it and then kill it? I'm a little undecided, but that's what this is doing. It's just telling armor stands around it that it is there and it doesn't need a new one spawned where it is. And then we have another thing here. E, west, south, north. What are we doing here? We're executing on the chunk checker with a north score of at least 1, meaning it is supposed to someone at north. There isn't one there already. That detects cobblestone And what? Spider says, we're killing unneeded ones already. If you do, it's better to just spawn it. Yes, that's sensible. So it's... if it has a north score of 1 and has cobblestone at its feet, execute at the closest armor stand, which has bedrock 32 blocks in front of it, to summon an armor stand 32 blocks in the Z. 32 blocks in the Z, okay. I think the reason that it's checking why it has cobblestone at its feet is because if... right, so let's just... I think I know why this is happening and why we need to keep it. Oh, hello. GM4 Corner Finder? Why are you running? This has filled itself in again. Okay. So imagine that this is our world, our loaded chunks are in the middle here. Our scanning is going on around us, it's expanding out from us, and it reaches the edge. Now, we're actually scanning 2 by 2 chunks at once, so this would probably be better off. Oh, let's use a new block that is visible. I have my Foxy Boxes texture pack on. There we go. Hello, hello Energixer, welcome to the stream. So, we have a double chunk like this, and just make a 3 by 3 of these, I guess. So this is our double chunks that are being checked by the terrain system. We're standing in the middle here. So it goes over here, and it's going here, right? And it's checked this chunk, and now it summons another armor stand over here. Now the edge of our world is here. There's nothing loaded beyond that, beyond these chunks here. But we're doing a double chunk, right? So our armor stand... hang on a second, what am I doing? Actually, this would be more like... basically, if one of the double chunks is loaded but the other isn't. So it's like it being... yeah, actually, that was correct. So this one is summoned from this corner here. It summons one over here, and it correctly puts the armor stand here because that's loaded. But the double chunk itself is not loaded. Only 2 of the 4 are loaded. So when the fill command that happens right at the start here fills cobblestone in a 31 by 31 around it, it fails. It tries to fill it, and it can't fill blocks outside of the world because it's not loaded. So the reason that's checking for cobblestone at the feet of itself is to make sure that the chunk is fully loaded, I believe. So I think we should keep that. Yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. That's what that's doing. Bit complicated. Executing on the armor stand, if it has a north score of 1, to check for cobblestone at itself, which means that its chunk has been processed and it isn't lazy or half loaded, to execute at itself to check for bedrock 32 blocks in front of it. If it doesn't find bedrock, the chunk's either already been checked or it's not loaded, in which case it'll fail. Summon an armor stand, GM4 chunk checker, blah 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 blah. I left this visible and with a custom name visible. I didn't really package this very well. I think after a year of working on it, I just wanted to get it out. Hermitcraft, that's what it was. I was hurrying to get it ready for Hermitcraft. Okay, so I'm kind of reminding myself what's going on, and I think we do the same thing again in each direction Set Gem4 chunk checker. Are you kidding me? Didn't we already just do this? Is this because we've just summoned a new one? Do we do this 4 times? I think we do. East, west, south, north, summon armor stand. And then I bet we do it again over here. North, south, east, west, east, west, south, north, summon armor stand. Wow, okay. I think this is clearly going to be better to just summon them regardless, because all of this calculation is just working out whether it should spawn it or not. So I guess we can really cut down on this. Swinksy says clearly. Did I say clearly? I apologise. Clearly is a word I try not to use because things are not clear for everybody just because they're clear for me. Anyway, this one here, GM4 chunk checker, detect bedrock. We can pretty much keep this, I think. While we work on this, I'm going to mark them. I'm going to sign them so we don't get lost. We need to change this to area effect cloud. Now, do we bother specifying the type? If we don't specify the type and we have a unique GM4 underscore name, we shouldn't run into a problem, but somebody could change their name to GM4 chunk checker and break the system. It would be shorter to do this. Type not equals player and then give it a unique name that's not being used anywhere else, which as part of Gamemode 4 I check that I'm not using a name already. That might be a shorter way to do it, while avoiding players. Although somebody could name like a pig with a name tag or something. I suppose we're going to have to go with it. Type equals area effect cloud. That's annoying. It's such a long name. Spider says, I think if somebody changes their name to that, they want to break it. No sense in trying to prevent that. In some instances, they are creating blocks, so we want to make sure players are not able to generate free blocks. If that makes sense. So this one is setting cobblestone at their feet and ignoring breaking the system from a service perspective. Would they be creating anything bad? Okay, well, let's just go type equals not player then, and you know what? I don't think this one matters because they will. The player can only be in a checked chunk. The player can only be in a chunk that's already been checked, so the chunk checker armor stand will appear at their feet and it'll work out that it's already been checked and nothing will happen, right? Even if they named an entity or if they named an item, they can only do so in a chunk that's already been scanned by the system, so I don't think anything would really happen. Yes, they could shoot a pig into unused chunks. Right. Okay. Let's just go with that then. GM4C scan. Chunk scan. CS. It's a big system. Hard to pull apart even if you know what everything, even if everything's clearly named. Maybe I'll give it a short name. Detect. Get rid of this. I was very stickly about Minecraft colon when I built this system because I was worried about future-proofing, and that didn't help me at all because other things broke. So I guess we'll get rid of the Minecraft colons. Detect bedrock. Fill. 3131 cobblestone, which we're changing to barrier. Is this going to cause heavy light updates? I guess that is Y0, so we should be okay. And then the custom terrain system can replace the barrier with sandstone, etc. if you need to. Oh yeah, the pig would have to be inside of a block. No, it wouldn't, because... Well, at least not at the moment, because we're detecting bedrock. Yeah, you're right, it would have to be inside bedrock. Fair enough. Don't tell anyone. Okay, so we're summoning that. And then we're getting rid of this whole north, south, east, west checking thing. And we're just summoning them regardless of whether they have to be summoned or not. I think. So let's just do this. Execute at E tab equals area effect cloud, getting rid of that. Name equals GM4 CS, I think it was, chunk scan. GM4 CS, okay. Get rid of that. Detect, get rid of the Minecraft colon. Cobblestone. Execute at E tab equals armor stand C equals 1. At E is weird. I have found that at E C equals 1 without a type declaration sometimes returns the closest player instead of the closest entity, i.e. themselves, which is why that's there. Bye Janice, thank you for watching. I wonder if that still happens. Execute at E, name equals test, say at E, C equals 1. So I'm going to summon one of these test area effect clouds. Okay, that's probably okay then. You know why it used to happen, says Spider. They changed it so it shouldn't anymore. Do you know why it used to happen? Do you know what they fixed? That makes me feel very happy that I don't have to put the type if it's not a player. Execute add EC equals 1, detect, bedrock. Look at all these characters we're getting rid of. Summon armor stand, summon area effect cloud. Custom name GM4 chunk checker becomes CS. Custom name visible doesn't work on area effect clouds. No gravity, doesn't need that for it. Marker, don't need that for it. Duration, I'll just put 1,000 for now. I think 1,000 is, well, 1,000 ticks. So 1,000 divided by 20 is 50. Oh my god, I got it right. I just checked with the calculator. So that's 50 seconds that it lasts for, which is way more than it needs to. Let's go with 5 seconds max, so 100. because in that time it should... Oh, it does get kind of slow though. 10 seconds... 20 seconds. Javalus, right now I'm only working on the base, but we will be converting the expansion packs for towers and dungeons and terrain changes and things as well. They're going to be a lot easier to convert, actually. So Spider says C, as in closest entity, used to execute from the center of a block so it could pick out what was closer to the center than you. Now it executes C from entity position, so it shouldn't be a problem. Okay. I thought it would just target the player regardless of where they were. Duration is based on game tick, so it would slow down along with the processing. Good point. In which case, let's go with something smaller. 5 seconds? 5 seconds should be long enough for the next chunk to be checked, since the clock is running every second. And then if they're still around in 5 seconds, they will be killed. And we can make that shorter if we find it doesn't break anything. So we can copy this, and we need 3 more of them, 1 for each orientation. Detect, so we can do 32 instead of minus 32. Then we can do 32 on the X. And finally, Javalus, there is a Foxy Boxes that I recorded earlier today, and it will be out tomorrow. As long as my internet doesn't break. I'll be uploading it overnight. So yeah, if that answers your question, there will be a Foxy Boxes out very soon. It's a long one as well, like 30 minutes. So that's the 4 area effect clouds being summoned. That's good. And that cuts out all of this bull. Like, all of this is now gone. There must be a section that's killing them based on location. We've just copied all of this. Is there something at the end here? Where do they get killed? Somewhere there's a section which kills them in a certain order. I think there's 2 bits kind of mashed together here. This is all adding and setting scores to dummy players and things like that. And this is still doing that. Somewhere on all of this there should be some stuff that's killing the armor stands. Where is that? Because once we've got 4 in a spot, we need to delete them. And we don't actually need that, but I want to know where it is because I don't know where it is. And that makes me worried that I've missed something. We've dealt with all of those. And now we're doing these. And I'm not sure where this kill thing's going. What happens at the end of this? Hi MC Peach Pies, welcome to the stream. Ah, delicious coffee. Execute at E, name equals GM4 C process, type equals understand set block -1 Minecraft Redstone block. So C process is this. So that's telling this to pulse. That is telling custom chests to populate. Oh no, this is telling custom chest population to run, and this is killing any chunk checkers with cobblestone at their feet. Which again, I don't think we're going to need. So where is my thing? Because I know that I had to kill them based on their orientation, whether they were like east, north killed south, east, west, south killed east and west, and east killed west. So that by the end, and by the next iteration of this clock, only one remained. Okay, I guess we are done with all of this. I can't believe how much smaller this is already, just by sort of thinking some more about how this can work. I think something that really helps with redoing this 4.9 is that I've used it a lot for generating 2 public servers and the Hermitcraft server, and I'm getting a good feel for how people are using it and how their experience is with it, so that kind of helps quite a bit. Plus, I'm always learning new things about command blocks. So all of this stuff we've now shrunk down to that. That's a pretty good improvement, I think. There is a comparator which is placed that is here when this schematic is installed, that this hopper clock feeds into, which is basically like a one-time running of X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. These 2 lines here. So we're going to have to... This is a lot of scoreboards and players, which are probably going to have to be copied. And we can look in here, I guess, to check everything that's going on. Ooh, that was close. Okay. Make sure to use tags. Have I used any scores yet? This is a priority system. Oh yeah, you're right, just about this whole thing over here. Yeah, a lot of these are dummy players used for calculating the position of the player in the world. So I don't know how many of those we can turn to tags. That's something definitely worth considering. So that's our fill. Okay, so we've got T. T plus 2. That's this. I think. Oh. Yeah, I see what you mean. We can probably get rid of tpos 2 and change it to a tag. Scoreboard players tag at a add gm4 location check location. Add gm4 check location tag, which means we can get rid of this, I think. Yeah. Did we actually ever add it? There it is. CL. Oh no, that's okay. Whatever. We'll delete them later. Whew. T-pos 2 selected chunk finder X, chunk finder Z. Right, chunk finder X and chunk finder Z are the X and Z coordinates of the player. I know that, and that's best left as a score. So let's add those. Scoreboard objectives, add GM4 CFX. Get rid of that /. I really just like that it adds those inside command blocks. And CFZ. I'm not sure what T-pos 2 are changing for a tag. I don't know what T does yet. I guess I'll label them T question mark T-pos 2 tag. This is now in the way. I guess we can lower it a bit, or let's move this over. Oh, there's the button. Okay, that's fine. We can deal. T-pos 2. Okay, and then selected. I don't know what that is. This is chunk finder X, which we have converted. CFX. Just marking them so I know what they used to be. Chunk finder Z. That. Okay, what's this? Chunk sum type. That is CST. We've got that right here. Done. -2. Right, these are all just dummy players. Oh, T. Okay, T is just a placeholder scoreboard for the values of it. So I'm creating fake players that are numbers and setting their T score to that number, so that and to be honest, I'm probably going to leave that as T because it is referenced a lot. It's against the rules, it's against the GM4 standard, but it is a very, very long thing. Hopefully nobody else calls anything T. But why T? I know why. Actually, no, I don't know why, because this is a system created by Thingamajig. I'm so bad with names. Staffin. There wasn't even a K in there. Anyway, I don't know why T. One of the first languages I ever learned was Smalltalk. Stay away from it, children. It's horrible. But the naming practice for variables there was T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, which is why I thought I'd said it like that. But come to think of it, that is actually not one I created. So I don't know why Staffin set it to T. In many ways, I'd say I is more appropriate for an integer. I don't know, I may just leave it as T. in which case we just need to convert all of these to chain command blocks. By the way, I don't really know quite how this system works out your coordinates. It's something about trying to teleport a pig around, and if it finds the pig, if the pig is able to teleport, then it is in an area where the world exists. If it fails to teleport, then it's in an area where the world doesn't exist, and it kind of just halves its distance from you each time until it reaches you and keeps track of its position as it goes. I know kind of how it works, but I can't really explain it, so I'd go look at Staffan's video for that, really. And the hour is getting kind of late, so I'm going to have to stop streaming and continue this another time. So thank you for watching. We're making slow progress, but we are improving it as we go, which is great, and learning and relearning how it works. So I'll see you next time. Bye.